Yeah. Good morning. Where the fuck is y'all? Murder Inc. Previously on Kimba TV. You see how it's doing this? And it's doing this? So my average is probably here. Something like that, Alpeasy. Oh, yeah. How we doing? Bugatti. Alpeasy. Did you take it?
Shout out Kimba. Let's get it. Kimba was popping.
Shout out Alpeasy for asking amazing questions. Y'all remember, but conceptually, I would be looking for what? Ba-bink. Ba-bink. Math time. Can it hold? Can it hold? How we doing though, Lions? All right, let me finish up roll call real quick. Alpeasy, let's get nasty. Hey, hey, let's get nasty. One Mars is gonna miss first 20-30 minutes. You're good. You're good. I mean, it's just a continuation of the TA. Bounce off, you see, breach the green, bounce off of blue. Breach the green, bounce off of the blue. And here's your Fibonacci retracement. We nasty, y'all? Do you believe in the math? And you know what's even more awesome? You have a CCV setup and it's fucking pixel fucking the daily open, y'all. So you already know what it is. If bulls cannot hold this and you lose previous day value area high, full rotation, ho. Oh my God, I need to get a new mouse in New York. God damn. Lose previous day value area high, full rotation play. Yeah, I'll wait. I'm gonna do some TA stuff. So go grab your groceries, and then when you're back, we can do like a little TA session. Let's get nasty. I'm going to go make some coffee too. You guys Gucci? You guys Gucci? Nasty, 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 nasty. Alpeasy says, of course I took it. Is it really that difficult, Alpeasy? How the fuck were we able to draw this yesterday morning? Because the math is the math, ho. Schwiggity, schwiggity, schwaggity, schwaggity. Let's get nasty. How we doing? Happy Wednesday, y'all. The math is the math. Joker, what's going on? One Mars says, and yes, I took it. You literally drew it yesterday. Well, let's see if it holds. Javoy says, I took it. Let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. But can we give it up for the Kimba lines? Can we just give it up for the goddamn Kimba lines? Alpeasy says, I even took screenshots and went back and studied the stream like film study. That's beautiful. Well, for those of you that did take it, stop loss at break even type of shit, right? And you guys can see the fib, so you know what it is. Mathematically, you know what it is. You know what you got to do. Not only do you have to turn that into support, but you got to break above that. Math. And then for the bears, you have a poor low. I can't stress enough what that would mean, but you know, do you boo-boo? We've kind of been talking about what poor highs and poor lows indicate when it's trying to leave a range. Hint, hint. But yeah, you got a poor low down there, right? And you also have a CCV setup. So the math is straight mathin', and let us guide us to the promised land, y'all. And you know what's awesome? The previous day value area high is 39.5, which is literally that blue line. Bugatti. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. You got to love this shit, y'all. Everybody Gucci. Ysec says, I'm in a long from 39.1. I see you, my boy. Well, we're all looking at the same shit, right? We have a CCV setup because the daily opened outside of the value area range. So, bulls, you better fucking hold 39.5. Bugatti. All right. Otherwise, we marked that poor low yesterday. So, if it swing fails that, then that's another easy long for me. Let's see what happens, y'all. Let's see what happens, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Yak Yak in the house. Crypto Chronic in the house. Trader never give up. Silver HD. But if you know what you're doing, like whether it was this in the morning yesterday, almost 24 hours ago, we drew this. You know what I'm saying? Identifying the levels, reading the data correctly. You know what I'm saying? Reading the charts correctly. That's a poor low. Can't deny it. Alrighty, CCV play. Trade Malia, do you ever hedge your positions using options? No, but I will because I've started to dabble in CME things. Abdo says, what are your upside targets? 42, 43. This good. So if it's going to get above that, it may be a swing fail like that. It has to be a swing fail, right? Just like how we talked about with the 48.8 short entry that I have. When it sweeps a good high, it should be a swing fail, not a failed auction. So if you can get above that, then that would be interesting. But I would just take it level by level, Abdo. I mean, I didn't really expect to be holding the short for this long. I'm just taking it level by level with the short, right? I would do the same with the long, brother. First things first. Get above that, turn it into support. Yes? Make a higher high. Why don't you go ahead and start identifying some levels that could get swept? Take a swing high, swing low. You know what that is, right? See it? I would just take it level by level, brother. Just like we did with the short. Xenon says, don't you think they might just sweep 39.5 and leave that poor low for later? Yeah, that's possible, but who knows at the end of the day. But yeah, you've already tapped the previous day value area high once. Going back to revisit it wouldn't be good. And you already know what it is, right? You had a daily open outside of value area range. So if you do start to have candle closes below value area high, yeah, you would have PD, EQ, and point of control as support, but the full rotation play would take you all the way to 38.7. Okay, and then that would also be CME gap fill as well, and you would have bigger fib in play. Well. You think that's a coincidence? Hell no, math. So yeah, you could talk to me about a 39.5 sweep. Could you sweep that? Yes. Like that? Yes. However, doing a full complete fill, going down to there, that might be the juicy Maguchi. That would be the scenario if you're going to front run the poor low. But then you would be thinking to yourself, why would you not sweep that either? Bitch. So this is where you would start to think about all the different possibilities, and then you would say, okay, why would a market maker bounce it here on a sweep but not grab the CME gap? When has it done that before? What is the data that you can look at? Because that is possible and it has done that before. So you got to be able to remember and understand why it might do that. When would it come back, right? Maybe the open interest is good enough. Maybe you've got a really convincing hidden CVD bull div. I don't know. But you would be thinking to yourself, okay, that possible, but maybe lower probability. Full, better, right? And then grabbing that and then going would be better. That would be better. This is second best, and then that's third best. Alrighty? We're all looking at the same shit. There's no right or wrong. You just make sure you have a plan. As long as you're not going to do some goofy ass shit like, oh, it's going to dump 33 bottom short, go fuck yourself. As long as you're not going to do some goofy shit like that, you're Gucci, my guy. I'm rooting for you. But yeah, there's no right or wrong, Xenon. So take it level by level. And the most important thing is that you remember what happened this time so you can remember it next time. There was somebody that was DMing me an idea, and I said, well, do you remember what happened 4 days ago with that strategy? And they couldn't remember. And I was like, bro, you can't just be flying blind every single time. So memory, recall, pattern recognition is obviously the most important thing when it comes to shit like this. So let's go, Muntage. Brotoya says, you just gave me some added confluence for my own thangity thang. That's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful, Brotoya. And that's what I'm saying, brother. Like, we're all looking at the same shit. We're all going to have slightly different interpretations or executions based off of our own subconscious bias, right? There's a difference between some people that expected 50, 51, 52 and how aggressive they would have been at the short versus me that was ready to short 48, 49. There's a difference between people that are waiting for 37, 36, 35, 33, 32 versus somebody like me that's been talking about, bros, 38, 39, 40 might be a long zone. Yeah, so we're all going to have like slightly different subconscious biases. So that's the beautiful thing is, we got to do our own thangity thang. Bro, Toya, you good? So first things first. That's what we talked about. That was the plan. Down to defining the stop loss. Hogdora says, but where TP? We talked about it. Okay? So whether you took the long or not, whether I did, it doesn't matter. It's, are you able to, this is 24 hours ago. We talked about this in the morning. Okay, Neo, we talked about this yesterday when US markets opened. You can see where the candles are. Alrighty. And so it's about identifying levels and being able to anticipate what it would do based off of what it's done thousands of times before. Okay, whether you actually execute on it or not doesn't matter. And if you do you remember when I said I will gladly open hedge longs, but my primary short is not going to get closed? Do you remember all of that? So as always, I'm just executing said plan. And those plans are pretty well planned out and pretty far in advance. All right, Neo. So this was the plan. Again, it's not me talking about everything. You can hear me. I'm answering Alpezi's question. Alper was the one that asked me, how would I take this long? Where's my entry? Where's the stop loss? And so, as always, we talked about it and I showed it. Okay. And so, yes, this is where we're at right now. Alrighty, and then we had a Kimba box pullback. It bounced off of the 75786. Do you see this? It's pixel fucking. We identified how we could take a shot. And Neo, you've been here long enough. Neo, you've been here. You have to understand the context, I think, especially like trying to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do. We were talking about shorting this when the ETF stuff was going on, right? And when we were talking about shorting this, it was either shorting this or longing this. Do you remember that, Neo? Do you remember, even though we got into the top, Pico top short, around this point, if you listen to the streams and the highlights, you can hear me say, I think the probability of going to here is a little bit lower, and we have to be ready to long here. And then while we waited, probably for what, 3, 4, 5 days, I said, hands up if you're in the 38,000 to 38.5 camp. Hands up if you're in the 38.5 to 39 camp. We had planned and talked about wanting to possibly take a long here, if you remember. Right? So, like, you have to understand the narrative in which how the thought process has changed and adapted. So have you been able to follow all of that? It's crucial that you were here when we started talking about, I think we need to long here, boys. There is a lower chance that we come back down here now. It starts with that because my subconscious bias is going to be more willing to long, more trusting the higher time frame than maybe somebody else that has less confidence that it could bounce from here. Okay, so Neo, let's talk about bullish scenario, okay? Here, we knew that the appetite for dumping was starting to run out, okay? So if you don't remember, you got to watch those 2 days of highlights when I'm talking about there's a chance that we could bounce from this zone. I think this is lower probability. You have to understand why and when I start talking about that. That's going to mean that we're going to be a little bit more hyper aggressive longing this. We might not have to wait for a 30-minute structure, or we might not have to wait for open interest to completely go our way, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so foundationally, higher time frame, we know that there is a slightly less chance to go down here. We might have to think about longing this. Okay, we did the math, we broke it down, we considered the divs and the potentials of a potential bear div breaking, all that stuff. And so this was the breakdown of the long. Okay, so theoretically, you had an opportunity to get in a long once when it popped through and it pulled back and it bounced. So that's the entry. We talked about where the stop loss would be. Okay, so you're either already filled or you waited for the Kimba box pullback to reassure yourself that it indeed is bullish, and you went long, and you would have gotten full filled, and your stop loss would have been a lower low. So maybe some lions are filled here. Some lions, if you did 1, 2, 3, 4, you have an entry here. Right, Neo? That's the bullish scenario. And then what we talked about yesterday when we were talking about TPs on this long is look for poor highs, okay, and potential sweep levels, right? Let's see if there's any TPO things. There you go. So you've got a naked, untapped point of control, okay? You also have volume point of control. And let's go swing high, swing low. Let's get mathematical overlay. There you go. So I think it would be fair to say TP1 overlapping with the TPO point of control, probably TP2 right there on the 75786 for a possible sweep, okay? And then maybe even the 886 because you have volume and then you've got tails. And then maybe you have like 60% of it still running to go higher. Okay, so you like TP1, TP2, TP3, okay? And then maybe you have 60 or 70% still running, and so it could be the home run to go grab 45 or 50. Roger that. But you still have things, 42, 43, you got a couple of things. So as we always do, identify levels, TPO, value area high, value area low, point of control, volume, point of control, volume, value area high, value area low. Roger that. Poor highs, poor lows, single prints, imbalances. Look for confluence, Fibonacci. So Neo, if you're already, I would, in my opinion, I don't think you should be chasing any more longs. You had that opportunity, more than 24 hours to prepare for that. Okay, and you also had the Kimba box pullback. So at this point, I think me personally, if I wasn't in a long already, I would be like, dude, I missed it. I wouldn't really want to chase the third attempt. All right, Neo. Now, you want to talk downside levels? You want to talk downside? So, same thing. TPO levels, volume levels. All right. And pour high, pour lows. So, let's do that now to the downside. 30-minute TPO activated. Okay. So, you have an untapped TPO point of control down around 39.1. Okay, you've got a little bit of volume right below 39. You have a poor low down there at 38.5. Okay, and then you've got Fibonacci retracement like this. And when you do the Fibonacci retracement, it is CME gap. Pixel perfect golden pocket. See it? So probability that it just bounces off of golden pocket and it just does a CME gap fill and then go, I think it would be funnier to maybe grab those and do that. But the easiest long, since that is a poor low, okay, do you see it on the CME? That's a poor low. I would love to sweep the poor low. I would love to get, so that's an easy long, and I would probably wait for I wouldn't even need a 30-minute candle structure, to be honest. I would probably just, the minute that it snapped back, I would just go swing high, swing low Fibonacci, and all the way from 7.5 into the sweep level, I would just immediately put limits and then stop loss lower low. And so that's a poor low. If they want to leave it, then there's a higher probability that it's going to come back and grab it before rotating back up. Neo, what have you noticed? What's the plan? What's the pattern that you've noticed the last couple months when there's a poor low or a poor high that gets left behind? Is it able to leave the range before grabbing it? That's all I would say. So, do you now and how long have I been talking about I'm not going to close the short, but I'm happy to hedge the long? Is it kind of starting to make sense why? I rarely hedge, right? Maybe I'll hedge once or twice a year. It is really rare, but how long have I been talking about hedging this bitch and keeping the short open? Is it kind of making, because if you basically the conclusion is I don't know what the fuck going on. I'm just as fucking clueless as you are. So I have to protect myself at this point. Did we start to understand that the 38, 39, 40 zone was potentially a bounce? Yes. So I got to protect my short, right? Could it still go to 33, 32, 31? Do I still have my home run TPs there? Yes. Am I going to shave a little bit at 36, 985? Yes. So that's it. A lot of what I just talked about is not opinion. It's just observation and things that we can see, right? That's a poor low on CME. That's not arguable. Okay, whether it grabs it sooner or later is totally up to the market. Okay, is there a CME gap down there? Yes, that's not arguable, right? Are there also poor highs up there and single prints up there? For sure. Did we notice that with the open interest going up and down at the previous range level, above 42, that maybe 38, 39 is actually the bottom? Yes. Are we good? So I hope the narrative makes sense, but you've got to have the higher time frame subconscious bias, as well as, so you got to have the micro and the macro understanding. All right, Neo. Oh, and Neo, what is this? What is this? What are we looking at right now? Tell me. What are we looking at, Neo? We have a daily open above the previous day value area high, which means that if you start to get candle closes, I'm talking about maybe 2 15-minute candles or 2 30-minute candles, rotation play, exactly, Rooney. And lo and behold, what's that previous day value area high? 39,523 on Bybit. That's the blue line. So lots of confluence and importance for that blue line to hold. Yes? So if you get, if you start to turn previous day value area high into resistance, your CCV or Kimba full rotation play is your previous day value area. Obviously, the EQ and the POC can act as support, but the full target would be 387 hundo, which means you're getting that gap fill, right? And maybe like if you're at 38.7, why would you not just go the $150 and sweep the bad low and really confirm that it's good to go? Because if it sweeps that, then I think that's really bullish, and I would actually probably really think about closing the short and trying to see if we can take this long to like 50. So does that cover all the bases? And like we're all gonna have to nut up and do our own individual thing, okay? My dumbass might be waiting here for a sweep, okay? But the people that start to enter here might actually get the last lap because I'm gonna get left at this train station. Just because it's a poor low doesn't mean that it has to 100% grab it. They could save that for later. Okay, and depending on how if they save this for later, and depending on how much the open interest and the CVDs build up as we go above 42, 43, I might have to short 45 to go and grab 30 this and then lower to 33. It all kind of just depends on how, if this, then this. It's kind of sequential, right? So some people are gonna, say, fuck it, bro. I'm some of you, if you're hyper bullish, you're gonna go, fuck it, bro. This is my net, bro. Bugatti, bro. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I will wait for a swing fail to see if I can long that. But it could bounce from there. It could, because that's also, look. So CME is perfectly at golden pocket. So this could still go bink. You know that the price is going to be a little bit lower on derivatives. And so bink, or think, but closes above the POC. Okay, so so Neo, that's about it, brother. Alrighty, if this hedge long doesn't work, there is no immediate hedge long for me. Okay, I would think about the swing fail pattern here. Okay, but that might not be a hedge anymore, and I might seriously have to consider closing my short. Does it make sense? Why? Because sweeping a poor low is very bullish, and it means that the business is now finished and we can go. And then we revert back to how I've been talking about. If it does bounce from here, then I don't know if I want to short the 45, right? Because then I would be thinking to myself something like, by the way, pixel, sweep that, check. A bunch of retail shorts, squeeze. So that's about it, I think. I hope that makes sense. Burbeezy says this is the ultimate recap. I see you, Burbeezy. How you doing? So I hope that made sense. That's just the way that I'm looking at it. There is no right or wrong. All right. And if you've been able to follow along, that's kind of been the transitionary narrative, right? Neo says insane LOL all makes sense, but brain overload. Well, as long as it makes sense, and it's not, it doesn't have to like all make sense. But for the most part, when we identify the, like for example, like it doesn't take too much brain power to understand that there's a TPO point of control there, right? It doesn't take too much brain power to take a swing high, swing low Fibonacci, right? It doesn't take too much brain power to understand that there's a point of control, TPO, untapped point of control, Fibonacci overlap, CME gap. And then you can start to go with probabilities. There's a chance that it could front run this, right? Front run the poor low. There's a chance, and I might get left at the train station. I don't think I would long this. Okay, but it would be goofy of anybody to really take that comment too seriously because I don't have the open interest data if it does go and approach that level, and that's ultimately the thing that would be the most conclusive. Rooney says, I had the sweep plan. I'm waiting for that one. Yeah, and yeah, for me, if it's going to go and grab the CME, I think it would be extremely bullish to grab the poor lows, finish the business, come back, and then go. Express One says, what confluence would you look for if the price bounces from 39.5 to be more certain that it's bullish? Like a swing fail, Express. The only thing that would be bullish is you lose it, but you get back above it before the candle close. That's probably the only thing. Yeah, but you were here earlier when we went through all the bearish scenarios, right? So, like, the reason why you can derive that on your own is because you have the previous day value area high at 39.5. And so you know that if that becomes resistance, then you have your full rotation in play, and that could be a target, that's a target, and that's your final target. So just with that confluence alone, like you could be okay with it losing 39.5, but you need to like make sure that 39.5 is support, not resistance. Because if it is resistance, then you have the full rotation play. So then you would just naturally be thinking, okay, fuck, you can lose 39.5. However, you need to have a candle close above 39.5 if you want to maintain bullishness to indicate that the value area high is still support. And so for some people, that might be a 5 minute, a couple of 5 minute candles, a couple of 15, a couple of 30s. It's up to you. And just remember that you're also going against the idea is that the more you tap a level, it becomes weaker and weaker. It's called tippity tap tap. So, you don't really want to be the dude longing the third or, God bless, the fourth tap. First tap, for sure. Second tap, okay. But the third tap, you do realize that it has become weaker. And I can only imagine what kind of stop losses would be here below the lows. So just be careful. So it really it would have to be like a swing fail pattern, Express. Like a bullish structure. But you heard what I said about how the next long, the only one that I would even think about would be down here. There you go. You got a Z level of 11,225 at 40,300. You got a Z level of 76,000, 77,000, around 42,300. Confluence. And then, yeah, this stuff really hasn't changed. You have a Z level of 400,000 at 34.3. 255,000 at 44.2. And this is all leverage. All right. The first peak to the upside is around 41,000. Second peak is around 41.9. The last big one is around 42.8. All right, y'all. I will see you guys tomorrow. What are you asking? Do you think it will still stab at 39,460? Yes, but again, it's not really so much about predicting the future, Nekazar. Just have a plan. China's going to open in a little bit, right? So just do your best. I think the biggest volatility causing thing will be tomorrow morning, an hour before pre-market. GDP is coming out tomorrow, right? Nekazar. So I would think that's the next volatility. And then you have your first monthly options expirations this Friday as well, Nekazar. So I think GDP numbers coming out, that could have a domino effect on Friday options and monthly options expirations, the weekly and monthly options expirations on Friday. So tomorrow we'll take a look at Boo Gammas and pay even more close attention to it. Yeah, and again, we talked about it earlier, Nekazar. The CME gap is whatever, but don't forget about the poor low. All right, you got a gap right there. Do we move everything? Ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Hey, longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. I hope I see you guys tomorrow. GDP comes out an hour before. Stay safe. All right, y'all, you know what it is. Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. Tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss, Sato.
Motherfucker, the math is the math.
He said he's going to smack the shit out of you. Hey, love you guys. Wow, what a week, what a month. We got 2 more days, y'all. Let's finish the week out strong. We got GDP tomorrow, and then Friday, you know what. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys had a blast. Fuck, I'm actually exhausted. This chest day is going to kind of suck.
Daddy, chill.
Babushka, thangity thang, Latuche. All right, hot diggity damn, Ricky Bobby. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. Peace, everybody. Stay safe.